Hey folks, Alan Saunders with Aaron Becker here at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. Pittsburgh Steelers just wrapped up the first night of the 2025 NFL Draft. They landed Oregon defensive tackle Derrick Harmon, although it wasn't without some drama. Aaron, the first round played out, I think, in a way that not very many people were suspecting. Two of the three defensive tackles that we tied to the Steelers a lot this offseason, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, off the board fairly early. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, well, he's still available actually now at the end of the first round, but both of those players available to the Steelers. They went with Harmon. Was that surprising to you?
It wasn't. I mean, I think a lot of us local guys have had Derrick Harmon pegged to the Steelers for a while. They needed to address their aging defensive line. Cameron Hayward, 36 years old. They also have Keanu Benton, but they got rid of Larry Ogunjobi this offseason. So there's a hole there. They were looking for the Cameron Hayward future replacement, and I think that's exactly what Derrick Harmon can be. I mean, he's been named Cameron Hayward 2.0 throughout this pre-draft process. So I think that's what the Steelers are hoping for, and I think it's what the Steelers got.
Yeah, I have to admit, I took Harmon in my last mock this morning, which is now like 17 hours ago, so whatever that is. But I have to admit, it was ticking down there. I wasn't super confident. I wasn't sure which way they were going to go. And now, what do you make of the idea that they just ignore quarterback here in the first round? It sure looks like Shedeur Sanders will go to the Cleveland Browns now at the top of the second round. Be picking up some scraps tomorrow. Is that a catastrophe to you? Is that okay? And how much of that depends on whether or not Aaron Rodgers signs?
Yeah, I mean, I still think they remain confident that the Aaron Rodgers thing is going to get done. But I think the grand scheme of things, the big picture, I think the Steelers have their sights set on the 2026 quarterback class. It's a crop that is a little bit, more respected, I guess, from the national people. And, I think they're going big game hunting then. Obviously in this draft, I think they're going to add to that room, whether it's a Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, a Quinn Ewers on day 2 or day 3. But no, I don't think it's any catastrophe at all. The Steelers took their BPA at 21, addressing that defensive line, and the quarterback carousel will continue, but it will end here soon, I have a feeling.
Yeah, it seemed like early this offseason, the Steelers were dead set on defensive line. They were putting all their eggs into the 2026 quarterback basket, and then somewhere along the way, we got kind of sidetracked into Shedeur Sanders territory. I wonder if that was always the smoke screen, how much they did like Shedeur Sanders, but also this tweet from Josina Anderson comes out today that says, hey, the Steelers told Aaron Rodgers they needed an answer 48 hours before the draft. They got that answer. They're the only ones that know it. So, did the Steelers get their answer from Aaron? Is that what she's suggesting there? I don't even really know. But I'm with you. I don't think Aaron Rodgers or no Aaron Rodgers was going to change the plan here significantly. I do expect them to draft a quarterback at some point, maybe even to get back into the second round tomorrow. I think that's possible as well.
Yeah, I mean, and the Steelers have expressed their faith in Mason Rudolph too. I mean, this guy's played for this team for 5 years before, and he knows the system. Obviously, he's not the ideal candidate to be the Steelers starter in 2025, but you have him, Skylar Thompson, you add a day 2 guy, like you said, a Milroe. He's a lottery ticket. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done there, but if he hits, great, and if not, like I said, you dip back into the 2026 draft class, and you can find your future franchise guy there.
So let's talk about the guy they did get, Derrick Harmon. I think I agree. Eventual Cam Hayward replacement. How does he fit in the defense right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think he gives the Steelers the ability to move around him and Keanu Benton in that Steelers defense. He can play anywhere from 3 to 5 technique, right, and just move around, right? Keanu Benton's kind of been playing that nose tackle role over the past couple of years, but I think Derrick Harmon being mixed with him, it just gives the Steelers a lot of options on that defensive line.
Yeah, I think a right-away replacement for Larry Ogunjobi and maybe someday a replacement for Cam Hayward. Talked to Derrick a little bit this evening, and he said very excited to be getting to pick Cam Hayward's brain, and then went on to say he's been doing this since before I was born. So he's very much in the wavelength already of the Cam Hayward is old narrative. I'm sure he'll get corrected by the old gray hair, like I can talk, of the Steelers defensive line. This was a big need for the Steelers this offseason, kind of obviously, even before they cut Larry Ogunjobi. Then it kind of got acute, but just because of the age of Cam Hayward and the need to invest in the trenches and replace and recycle that. But Mike Tomlin tonight was pretty elaborative of saying, yeah, the tape is the tape, and down the stretch, they weren't very good, especially against the run, and that's not the kind of defense they want to be. I think this is a pick that probably started in some ways last year in the draft when they did not get a defensive lineman, and that kind of was that and wide receiver were the two positions that like kind of got left hanging out there. But then the way the season ended, I think really the selection of Derrick Harmon started with Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens running all over the Steelers.
Yeah. I mean, that isn't Steelers' brand of football, right? I mean, a lot of guys have talked postseason, how just allowing a 200-yard rusher, not only in any game, but in a playoff game, that just can't be the way the Steelers are going to get things done and win. I mean, Steelers are in that 7-8 year playoff win drought, and that's the first thing they have to stop. You can't let someone run all over you, and Derrick Harmon is going to be a piece to not allowing that to happen again.
And I think with him, in addition to being a pretty good run guy, he has some pass rush juice too. Yeah. Like the difference between him and Walter Nolan and Kenneth Grant, who went ahead of him, actually, I think he's the best pass rusher of those three. I suspect that the Steelers would have preferred him over those other two anyway. I think he was at the top of their board among those three defensive linemen. And I think that gives them a 3-down player, which is really important when you're talking about the value of taking a guy in the first round. Mike Tomlin talked about the nose tackle's a dying breed. Look at a guy like Kenneth Grant. There's questions. Will you be able to use him as a 3rd-round player? I think there's no questions with Harmon. That's a 3-down player. Really good fit for this defense. They got a pick tomorrow, but we got a long wait until 83 in the 3rd round. What are you looking for in the second day of the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Steelers are going to try to get their way back in there to get a second pick. Whether that's a George Pickens trade, we'll see, or if they can kind of compile a pick this year and a 2026 pick next year, to kind of get back in. But I think running back is definitely on the board. I'm a big Dylan Sampson guy. If they are just going to stick and pick at number 83, it is a very deep running back draft class, so if you want to get a guy on day 3, you can, but at 83, day 2, Dylan Sampson is a guy I definitely have my eye on. And like you said, quarterback too, Jalen Milroe, if you want to take a shot on a lottery ticket, or Will Howard, if you will. I mean, both of those are definitely options.
Sampson was the guy I picked in my 3-round mock for the Steelers at 83, so not going to get any argument from me there. I think DJ Giddens also came here for a visit as another good option from Kansas State. I'm with you. I think they brought in too many guys that are 2nd-round picks, early 3rd-round picks, to think that they're not going to try to get back into that 2nd round, but we'll see how it goes. Lots more coverage coming up at SteelersNow.com. We've got a whole laundry list of things coming your way, a whole breakdown on Derrick Harmon from Derek Bell. It's just been a Derek kind of evening, as well as some really cool stuff about the Steelers' history of drafting players from Oregon, defensive linemen, the connection with Cam Hayward, all coming at SteelersNow.com. Make sure you go check that out. Of course, like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel. There will be a Steelers morning rush before you know it. I feel like I'm just going to go home. I might still be wearing the same outfit when we do that. We'll see. But very shortly, so don't miss an episode of that. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Till then, for Aaron Becker, I'm Alan Saunders. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy.